All right. So the first measure, we can pretty much do whatever we want within reason. I mean, we still kind of want to follow our good melody rules because the more we deviate from our good melody rules, the harder it's going to be to harmonize. So I'm just going to create just a little some rhythmic variety here. Quarter note and then D. Good. So that's our first measure, and since this is a Canon, we can just hit Control C and copy and Control V and paste to this measure. Now we're not done because we've got our 4 beats, but it's not in an octave. This is a unison, so we have to hit this down arrow and take it down 4 beats. Okay. So now in the next measure, whatever we compose in our melody has to follow our rules of dissonance against this harmony for the melody. So we have this G here. So what I'm going to do is, since we're going up here, I'm going to create some contrary motion and come down the scale here. So I have a G here. I can use a D, which is a fifth, and then keep coming down. So this is a fourth, which is going to be a dissonance. Okay, so I have to use our good melody, our dissonance rules, and I have to approach and resolve this dissonance by step. So that's a third. So we're in good shape here. And since we have a dotted note here, and this is not quite 4/1, but it's using that third species counterpoint. So we're getting a good mix of what we're doing here so far. A lot of variety, which is what I like to use in my compositions. Let's see, now we have an A. So this last one, we can just end up in an octave here and just keep coming down. So we have a B. I'm going to use first species counterpoint. Oops. And just put the interval here at a sixth. And since we're coming up here, I'm just going to finish this out and do a third. So we have sixth, third, first species counterpoint. Okay, let's hear what it sounds like so far. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so again, just copy paste. Make this easier on yourself. Copy paste down here. Put it down the octave. Okay, now we need to write a new measure. I'm going to keep this dotted quarter note motif going on so that we can end up with more fourth species counterpoint. So I'm going to use a B here, which is a sixth. And so now you got to make sure that your harmony here, so I have a sixth here, seventh, that's a dissonance, but it is approached and resolved by steps, so this turns into a passing tone. And then now I've got to figure out something to complement this A. So I'm going to come up. Since we're going down here, I'm going to use contrary motion to come up. So I'm going to come up to a C, make that an eighth note. And then I have another A. I'll have a G here. So I'm going to use this compound interval of a sixth. I'm going to add another dotted quarter. Why not? So now I'm going to end up, since I've added this as a dotted quarter note, now I have some fourth species counterpoint because we end up with a suspension here. So we have a G, B, but then on this beat, we have an F sharp against a B, which is pretty cool. So this is a compound third, and this right here is a compound sixth. So I'm going to come down to a fifth here. No, that's a third. So F sharp to A. And then I'm going to copy paste. Bring it down an octave. One more. And then all I need is my last measure. So I'm just going to finish it out with authentic cadence. We'll be talking more about cadences next week to make your music sound stronger. But it's just G, F sharp, G. Oops. Okay. So again, we have some more fourth species counterpoint here. So we have this G. We have this B to G, so that's a compound sixth, and then we have this fifth here, F sharp, B to F sharp, and then we have some more fourth species counterpoint. So we have a C sharp, a C natural, against an F sharp, which is a dissonance, but it is approached and resolved by steps. So this turns into a neighboring tone here. So we're fine. And then this is also a dissonance, so it is approached and resolved by steps. So two offsetting neighboring tones, and then we end up, we are short a measure. We need to add one. For some reason, one of my measures disappeared. Okay. We end up with this dissonance here with this A against a G, but it's going to work out because this is going to go down to a G, so this is going to end up being a passing tone, and we copy-paste this. Okay. All right. So you kind of have to create a balance because we don't want to overly complicate it. We also don't want it to be boring. So, if this has a lot of contrary motion, has a lot of mixed species, it has first species, it has third species and fourth species here. We don't have any second species, but you don't have to overly complicate it. Just make sure